Hello and a very good morning. It's just past 8 this Tuesday morning and we're back again with all the news and breakfast news. I am Nancy Kohli and over the next 1 hour we'll get you news from across the nation, world, sports and business updates and also a look at what the national dailies are carrying this morning. But first, the top stories. Prime Minister Narendra Modi assures the country's top industrialists of all the help from the government, says it's wrong to label the government anti-industrial because of action against some dishonest and corrupt people. Lists out all the steps taken by the centre to enhance the ease of doing business in the country. Prime Minister Modi speaks with the President of the United States, Donald Trump, to convey the New Year greeting, says India-US relations, which are built on trust, mutual respect and understanding, have grown from strength to strength. Poll panel, the Election Commission of India announces schedule for the Delhi Assembly elections, the single-phase polls to be held on the 8th of February, the counting of votes on 11th February. HRD Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal promises strong action against the perpetrators of the GNU violence, says the educational institutions cannot be allowed to become the hub of political activity. The Delhi police claims to have collected vital clues in the ongoing investigation. The first Antarashtriya Yoga Divas Media Samman to be conferred to media houses today. The awards in recognition of contribution of the media towards propagation of yoga. In international news, the US denied its plan of pulling troops out of Iraq after some media house reports about the American repositioning their troops. Meanwhile, Iraqi Prime Minister says the US and Iraq should work together to withdraw the foreign troops. Also, in latest development, the US denies Iranian Foreign Minister visa to attend the UNSC meeting. In sports news, the second match of the T20 International Series between India and Sri Lanka today in Indore. The first match in the series was abandoned due to rain. And our top story, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has spoken with US President Donald Trump and conveyed his New Year greetings to him. The Prime Minister wished President Trump, his family and the people of the US good health, prosperity and success in the new year. Prime Minister Modi stated that India-US relations, which are built on trust, mutual respect and understanding, have grown from strength to strength. He also highlighted the significant progress made in deepening the strategic partnership between the two countries in the previous year and expressed his desire to continue to work with President Trump for enhancing mutual cooperation. President Trump also wished the people of India prosperity and progress in the new year. President Trump expressed satisfaction at the achievements in the relationship in the last few years and reiterated his readiness for further deepening the bilateral cooperation. And let's now go across to our correspondent Amritpal Singh, who is joining us with more inputs on that on the phone line. Amrit, good morning. Of course, New Year 2020 beginning on a great note between India and the US. Prime Minister Modi dialing up President Trump, conveying New Year greetings, and of course, President Trump reciprocating in the same manner.
That's right, Nancy. This was an important phone call of the year, after Prime Minister wished the neighboring countries on the New Year, conveyed his wishes. This was his call to the U.S. President, and the two talked about various areas, of both the bilateral and areas of mutual interest. The Prime Minister noted that highlighted the significant progress made in the strategic partnership between the two countries in the previous year, and expressed a desire to continue working with President Trump to enhance this cooperation. If you see, last year itself, there were 4 meetings between President Trump and Prime Minister Modi,
right.
Apart from the bilateral meeting that took place in Houston when Prime Minister Modi had gone to his US trip and President Trump had made that rare gesture of sharing the stage with Prime Minister Modi when he addressed a huge diaspora gathering at the Howdy Modi event.
Yes.
Apart from that, he had met him at various various multilateral fora like the G7, the G20, etc. In the last month of last year, the 2+2 dialogue between the foreign and the defense ministers of India and US had taken place, essentially to take forward the strategic partnership. And the Prime Minister highlighted the progress made on that. And in this telephone call, which was essentially to convey New Year greetings to the US President, his family, and the people of the United States, he touched upon these things. So it signals that the deepening of the ties between the two countries, especially the strategic ties. Nancy?
Okay. All right, Amrit, thanks very much for joining us for the moment and sharing all those details on that important development taking place. Prime Minister Modi has spoken with the US President Donald Trump and conveying his New Year greetings to him, and the US President Donald Trump also wishing the people of India progress and prosperity in this new year. Moving on now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi graced the centenary celebrations of Kirloskar Brothers Limited organized in New Delhi on Monday. Addressing the gathering, Prime Minister Modi said that the endeavour of the government has always been to provide a transparent atmosphere in which the Indian industries can move ahead without fear and obstacles.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi assured India Inc. that the Indian economy is poised for great things, inviting the country's entrepreneurs to make this their decade. The Prime Minister emphasized the economic goal of making India a $5 trillion economy, but said that the country's dreams are bigger, with a focus on creating an ideal business environment for India Inc. with reforms, integrity and performance.
इस दशक में $5 ट्रिलियन की अर्थव्यवस्था का लक्ष्य तो एक पड़ाव है। हमारे सपने और बड़े हैं, हमारी उम्मीदें और बड़ी हैं, हमारे लक्ष्य और बड़े हैं। और इसलिए 2014 के बाद से देश में निरंतर ये प्रयास हुआ है कि भारतीय उद्योग जगत के सपनों को, उनके विस्तार को किसी रुकावट का सामना न करना पड़े।
The Prime Minister highlighted some of the key reforms that have improved the ease of doing business. They include the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, which has given a dignified exit route for failed business ventures. The Prime Minister also highlighted the transparency of the tax system, which is reducing the human interface. The Prime Minister emphasized the significant drop in corporate tax rates, making them among the lowest in the world.
इंसॉल्वेंसी एंड बैंक्रप्सी कोड आईबीसी की इतनी चर्चा होती है, लेकिन ये सिर्फ इतना पैसा वापस आया, उतना पैसा वापस आया, वहां तक ही सीमित रहती है। लेकिन वो उससे भी आगे है। आप सभी ये बेहतर जानते हैं कि कुछ स्थितियों में धंधे से बाहर निकलना ही कई बार समझदारी माना जाता है। ये जरूरी नहीं कि जो कंपनी सफल न हो रही हो उसके पीछे कोई साजिश ही हो, कोई गलत इरादा हो, कोई लालच हो, ये जरूरी नहीं है। देश में ऐसे उद्यमियों के लिए एक रास्ता तैयार करना आवश्यक था और आईबीसी ने इसका आधार तय किया।
With regard to the policy environment, the Prime Minister pointed out that more than 1,500 obsolete laws have been abolished, which had proved to be roadblocks for business growth. The Prime Minister highlighted the need for big investments, 100 lakh crore rupees in infrastructure, but the government's efforts have paid off. In the last 5 years, India's ease of doing business ranking has improved by 79 points.
कुछ लोग ये छवि बनाने में अपनी ऊर्जा लगाते हैं कि भारत सरकार उद्यमियों के पीछे डंडा लेकर के चल रही है। कुछ बेईमान और भ्रष्टाचारियों के खिलाफ कार्रवाई को इंडियन इंडस्ट्री पर सख्ती का रूप दिया जाना, मैं समझता हूं एक बहुत बड़ा दुष्प्रचार है। भारतीय उद्योग एक पारदर्शी माहौल में भय के बिना, बाधा के बिना आगे बढ़े, देश के लिए वेल्थ क्रिएट करें, खुद के लिए वेल्थ क्रिएट करें, यही हम सभी का प्रयास रहा है.
The Prime Minister appealed to the corporate sector not to be pessimistic and focus on expansion. He highlighted the importance of creating world-class products. The PM was happy to mention the growing brand value of the BHIM app. Till December 2019, UPI had crossed transactions worth 15 lakh crore rupees. There is a revolution also taking place in 36 crore LED bulbs being distributed under the Ujala scheme. Prime Minister Narendra Modi was speaking at an event marking 100 years of Kirloskar Brothers Limited. He spoke highly of the company's contribution to Indian industry and released a stamp to mark the milestone. Arun Sharma's report, DD India.
And earlier on Monday, Prime Minister Modi held an extensive interaction with the leading business stalwarts to discuss ways to improve growth and job creation. Top industrialists including Ratan Tata, Mukesh Ambani, Gautam Adani among others were present in the meeting. And senior Singaporean minister and coordinating minister for social policy Tharman Shanmugaratnam called on Prime Minister Modi in New Delhi on Monday. During the meeting, Prime Minister Modi and Shanmugaratnam expressed satisfaction at the rapid pace of the bilateral relations. The leaders discussed several matters of mutual interest in the sphere of economic cooperation, including infrastructure, skills, India-Singapore Comprehensive Economic Cooperation Agreement, and digital economy. The visiting leader lauded Prime Minister Modi's leadership in the social transformation of India and in the encouraging of digital economy. Moving on now, the poll panel, the Election Commission of India has announced that the elections for the 70-member Delhi Assembly will be held on 8th February. The counting will take place on the 11th February and the Model Code of Conduct has come into force in the national capital and the three main contenders, the Bharatiya Janata Party, the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress are primed for battle.
The Election Commission on Monday announced dates for much-awaited Delhi elections. Elections on all 70 seats in Delhi will be held in a single phase on February 8 and counting will take place on February 11th. Chief Election Commissioner Sunil Arora said the notification for polls will be issued on January 14th, while the last date of withdrawal of candidature will be January 24. The term of 70-member Delhi Assembly ends on February 22nd and a new government must be in place before that date.
The notification will be issued on 14th January 2020, Tuesday. Last day of nominations is 21st January 2020, Tuesday. In 2015, scrutiny of nominations shall take place on 22nd January, Wednesday. Last date of withdrawal of candidature is 24th January, Friday. Date of poll is 8th February, Saturday. Counting of votes shall be done on 11th February 2020.
The Model Code of Conduct came into effect immediately from the announcement of schedule. All the provisions of Model Code will apply to whole of city of Delhi with regard to all candidates, political parties and government of the said union territory. The Commission has made elaborate arrangements for ensuring the effective implementation of MCC guidelines. Delhi will also witness a triangular contest and all the three major parties are geared up.
चुनाव आयोग के दिल्ली में चुनाव 8 फरवरी को संपन्न करने की घोषणा का हम स्वागत करते हैं। पूरे दिल्ली वासी इसी प्रतीक्षा में थे कि झूठ की सरकार कब खत्म करे और काम करने वाली सरकार कैसे आए। एक ट्रिपल इंजन अब दिल्ली के लिए चाहिए। केंद्र में मोदी सरकार, दिल्ली में बीजेपी सरकार और एमसीडी में बीजेपी का कारोबार।
हम लोग दिल्ली में सबके घर जाएंगे। हमने जो 5 साल में काम किया, मैंने दिल्ली के मुख्यमंत्री के तौर पे काम किया, सबके मुख्यमंत्री के तौर पे काम किया।
दिल्ली के लोग, दिल्ली के दिलवाले, दिल्ली के तरक्की पसंद 1,46,00,000 मतदाता एक बार फिर कांग्रेस की ओर रुख कर रहे हैं।
Over 1.46 crore voters can exercise their franchisee in February 8 Assembly election. The Election Commission has decided to extend the facility of postal ballot to absentee voters, people with disability, and those above 80 years of age in all 70 Assembly constituencies. With inputs from Rishi Kumar and Shailendra Mishra, DD India.
Union Minister Dr. Harshvardhan has slammed the Arvind Kejriwal-led the Aam Aadmi Party government in Delhi on not fulfilling their promises made to the people of Delhi. Dr. Harshvardhan said that now Delhiites have got a chance to get rid of such a government.
I think it's good news for Delhiites. They will now get the chance to get rid of a government which promised them so much but failed on virtually every front, including what they talked with so much of, I would say, pomp and show, probity in public life. They were the first ones to compromise on that. And most of their MLAs, most of their policies, I think they were all deeply, I think, drowned in corruption and scandals.
And BJP leader Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi has said that in these elections, the people of Delhi will vote for the government that is committed to good governance.
देखिए, दिल्ली की जो लफाजी और हवा हवाई सरकार की उल्टी गिनती शुरू हो गई है और जिस तरह से लफाजी और हवा हवाई के माध्यम से दिल्ली की जनता को ठगने का काम दिल्ली की सरकार ने किया है, उसका जनता सूद ब्याज के साथ इन चुनाव में हिसाब किताब करेगी। अब जनता जो है वो एक सुशासन को समर्पित सरकार, एक ईमानदारी को समर्पित सरकार, एक जन सरोकार के प्रति ईमानदारी से काम करने वाली सरकार को चुनेगी।
BJP spokesperson Meenakshi Lekhi has filed a complaint with the Election Commission of India against a news channel alleging violation of the Model Code of Conduct by it after the announcement of the Delhi Assembly elections on Monday. Meenakshi Lekhi in her complaint has said that the news channel was showing the would-be results, quote-unquote, of the Delhi elections for different political parties, thus violating the Model Code of Conduct. Meenakshi Lekhi, also a BJP MP from New Delhi, has tweeted a copy of her complaint filed over the telecast by the channel. Meenakshi Lekhi has complained against the TV channel for airing the pre-poll survey. And let's now go across to our correspondent Rishi Kumar, who is joining us on the phone line with more updates on that. Rishi, good morning. So Delhi is to vote on 8th of February. We'll know the results by the 11th. And it's the national capital that's going to witness a triangular contest between the BJP, the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress.
बिल्कुल नैन्सी, अब जबकि चुनाव आयोग ने चुनावों की तारीखों का ऐलान कर दिया है, दिल्ली में एक ही चरण में चुनाव होंगे और इस दौरान हम देख रहे हैं कि तमाम सियासी मुद्दे अब तक भरकर सामने आ चुके हैं। तीनों ही प्रमुख राजनीतिक दलों की तरफ से दावे हैं। वहीं दूसरी ओर चुनाव आयोग ने जो तमाम पुख्ता तैयारियां की हैं और साथ ही साथ कुछ नए इनिशिएटिव भी लिए हैं। हालांकि इसकी शुरुआत उन्होंने झारखंड चुनावों में कर दी थी, जिसमें कि वो घर बैठे वोटिंग करने वाले जो बुजुर्ग हैं, जिसमें 80 साल से ज्यादा उम्र है, उन लोगों को शामिल किया है। उन्हें बूथ तक जाना नहीं पड़ेगा और इस बार वो घर से ही बैठे जो है पोस्टल बैलेट से मतदान कर पाएंगे और इसमें दिव्यांग मतदाताओं को भी शामिल किया गया है। इसी तरीके से ऐप से बूथ की जानकारी एक नया फीचर है इस बार चुनावों में, जो कि दिल्ली में देखने को मिलेगा। साथ ही साथ QR स्कैन कोड के जरिए जो पर्ची मिलेगी उससे लोग वोट डाल पाएंगे और जिसके पास नहीं होगा वो अपने मोबाइल के जरिए भी वोटर हेल्पलाइन से डिजिटल QR कोड जनरेट कर पाएगा। इस तरीके से तमाम जो नए इनिशिएट करते हुए चुनाव आयोग ने इस बार पूरी कोशिश की है कि चुनावों को फ्री एंड फेयर कराने के साथ साथ जो लोगों को कम से कम इस मसले में असुविधा हो और ज्यादा से ज्यादा लोग वोट डाल पाएं और उनका इस बार भी यही लक्ष्य है कि कोई भी मतदाता मतदान करने से न छूटे। इस पूरी प्रक्रिया को चुनाव आयोग अब आगे बढ़ा रहा है और राजधानी दिल्ली में चुनाव आचार संहिता लागू होते ही अब ये भी चुनाव आयोग की नजर होगी कि आचार संहिता उल्लंघन के जो मामले हैं तमाम, उन पर वो किस तरीके से कार्यवाही करता है। तो कल ही चुनाव आयोग ने कह दिया था कि इस पर किसी भी तरह की कोई कोताही नहीं बरती जाएगी और आयोग सख्ती से संज्ञान लेगा। जी
Absolutely, new initiatives and special arrangements you're telling us that have been taken care of by the poll panel, the Election Commission of India, to make sure to facilitate the smooth and easy voting by one and all in the national capital when it goes to the polls on the 8th of February. And a triangular contest being witnessed once again in the national capital, Delhi, Rishi. And while we're also getting to know about the claims and counterclaims being made by each of the parties, what are the issues, the campaign planks that the voters will be considering when they go out to vote on the 8th of next month?
देखिए, जहाँ तक मतदाताओं की बात है, उनके लिए सबसे ज्यादा जरूरी यही चीज है कि जो जरूरत की चीजें हैं, जिसमें खास तौर से दिल्ली में रोजगार है, शिक्षा है, स्वास्थ्य है, इस तरीके के जो तमाम मुद्दे हैं, बिजली भी एक मुद्दा है, जिसमें कि इस बार दिल्ली में ये भी देखने को मिला कि कई बार पावर कट की समस्या भी देखने को मिली। तो इस तरीके की जो तमाम बातें हैं, ये मतदाताओं के जहन में हैं। लेकिन यहाँ पर हम देखें तो तीनों ही राजनीतिक दलों के भी अलग अलग दावे प्रतिदावे हैं। जहाँ तक कि बीजेपी की बात करें तो वो कहती है कि वो दिल्ली में और केंद्र में एक ही सरकार है, इसका एक अलग फायदा मिलता है। साथ ही साथ जो राष्ट्रीय मुद्दे हैं वो बीजेपी की तरफ से प्रमुखता से छाए रहेंगे। वही कांग्रेस की तरफ से जो उनकी 15 साल की रूलिंग रही और उनके जो दावे हैं कि विकास उस समय सबसे ज्यादा हुआ, वो एक मसला है। वहीं आम आदमी पार्टी अपने काम के आधार पर वोट मांगने की जो उसकी रणनीति है, उसको सामने रख रही है। ऐसे में दिल्ली में जो तमाम मुद्दे हैं, चाहे वो महिला सुरक्षा का मुद्दा हो या जो अन्य मुद्दे हैं, इन सब को लेकर भी दिल्ली के लोगों के संज्ञान में है कि वो उस आधार पर भी अपनी वोटिंग करेंगे। जहाँ तक दिल्ली के जो सियासी मायने हैं, हम जानते हैं कि देश की राजधानी होने की वजह से और एक प्रतिनिधित्व के जो सभी देश के हिस्सों से आए हुए लोग भी यहाँ पर रहते हैं, उनकी भी इसमें जनभावनाएं जुड़ी होती हैं, उनके भी व्यूज होते हैं। इस लिहाज से दिल्ली का जो सियासी मायने है वो बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ जाता है।
All right, Rishi, thanks very much for joining us for the moment and sharing all those details. We'll of course keep getting more inputs on that. Thanks very much for now. Moving on now, the HRD Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal has promised strong action against the perpetrators of the GNU violence. The HRD Ministry held a meeting with the GNU administration on Monday and to take stock of the situation on the ground. The GNU administration apprised the ministry officials of the sequence of events that led to violence and the steps taken by them to restore law and order. The HRD minister has said that those responsible will not be spared and all the steps will be taken to make sure that educational institutions are not made the hub or the battlefield of politics.
ये शिक्षण संस्थाओं में शिक्षा का काम होना चाहिए। ये मैंने पहले भी कहा है, किसी भी शिक्षण संस्था को राजनीति का अड्डा बनने नहीं दिया जाएगा और इसलिए जो भी अभी आज विश्वविद्यालय के सभी अधिकारियों के साथ हमारे सचिव ने व्यापक चर्चा की है, जो दोषी होंगे उनके खिलाफ कार्रवाई होगी।
The Union Home Minister Amit Shah on Monday spoke with the Delhi Lieutenant Governor Anil Baijal and requested him to call the representatives from the GNU, after which the Lieutenant Governor held a meeting with the GNU administration. The Home Minister also spoke with the Delhi Police Commissioner Amulya Patnaik about the situation at GNU and ordered an inquiry by a senior police officer into the violence that broke out on Sunday night. And condemning the violence at the GNU campus, the Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar has said that proper investigation must be conducted into the matter. He's also accused the opposition parties of creating an environment of violence in universities across the country.
जेएनयू में और पिछले सप्ताह जो हिंसा हुई है, इसका हमने भर्त्सना की है, इसकी जांच भी हो रही है। नकाब पहनने वाले बेनकाब होंगे और कम्युनिस्ट, कांग्रेस, आम आदमी पार्टी तीनों मिलकर किसी न किसी बहाने दिल्ली में एक अराजक जैसी स्थिति, एक हिंसा की स्थिति लाने की सारी कोशिशें कर रहे हैं। यह हमने पहले ही विश्लेषण हमारा बताया है।
And the Delhi police have meanwhile said that they have found some vital clues in connection with the Sunday's JNU violence, and the police will solve the case very soon.
JNU एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन से एक रिक्वेस्ट की गई और उसके बाद दिल्ली पुलिस यूनिवर्सिटी में गई, एक एफआईआर रजिस्टर हुई है और जिसमें ये पूरे इंसिडेंट को रिकॉर्ड किया गया है। जो इन्वेस्टिगेशन है वो क्राइम ब्रांच करेगा, लेकिन इसके साथ साथ दिल्ली पुलिस ने एक ज्वाइंट सीपी वेस्टर्न रेंज के चेयरमैनशिप में कमेटी बनाई है, जिसमें बेसिकली ये फैक्ट फाइंडिंग कमेटी रहेगी और जो इन्वेस्टिगेशन है इसको कोई डिले ना हो, इसके लिए क्राइम ब्रांच ने अलग से टीम्स कॉन्स्टिट्यूट की हुई हैं। डीसीपी रैंक इसको हेड कर रहा है। उन्होंने आज मौका भी विजिट किया है। सीनियर ऑफिसर्स क्राइम ब्रांच और लोकल पुलिस दोनों ने मौका भी विजिट किया है और काफ़ी हमें अभी वाइटल क्लूज मिले हैं, उस पर अभी काम कर रहे हैं और होपफुली जल्दी हम ये केस क्रैक करेंगे।
And in the wake of violence at the JNU campus, the external affairs minister, Dr. S.J. Shankar, remembered the time when he used to study at JNU. He said in those days there was no such tukda gang, quote unquote. While speaking on the sidelines of a book launch in New Delhi, the minister said that during those days the environment at JNU was healthy.
And I have to ask this question because you're a JNU alumni. Do you consider JNU has become a hub for the Tukre gang?
I can certainly tell you, when I studied in JNU, it was not, we didn't see any Tukre gang.
Okay, let's now go across to our correspondent Vishal Barrister, who is joining us with more inputs on that on the phone line. Vishal, good morning. It's assurance and of course, strict action coming in from the police and also the HRD ministry, meeting with the GNU administration yesterday, taking stock of situation and assuring that those responsible for the violence will not be spared. They will be brought to book indeed. So sending out a very clear message that, universities, including GNU, will not be allowed to make political battlefield.
Well, a very good morning to you, Nancy. Yes, indeed, the government is very much particular that the JNU University maintains its education system and law and order is maintained in the campus. But let me tell you that I've been covering this issue for the last 2 days, and the biggest challenge with Delhi police is how to maintain law and order because the warring student unions, they are not giving in. Yesterday also they were shouting slogans against each other, and the Delhi police had a very hard time in controlling the students before they could clash against each other. So though the Delhi police have formed a special investigating team, a fact-finding team under senior police officials to probe into the case, they also claim that they have vital information and vital clues in this incident. They would be cracking the case soon, but maintaining law and order is the biggest challenge for the Delhi police because both the warring student unions, they are not giving in, and the dharna inside and outside the campus continues.
Absolutely, and maintaining law and order, restoring law and order continues to be top priority of the Delhi police and the government. Thanks, Vishal, very much for joining us and sharing those inputs. Moving on now, the BJP's campaign across the country in support of CAA is underway, and the party leaders are holding household visits, addressing rallies and press conferences, and spreading awareness about the law. Union Home Minister Amit Shah has accused Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi of misleading the people on CAA. He assured that there was no question of any minority losing citizenship due to Citizenship Amendment Act.
कांग्रेस पार्टी और आप पार्टी, विशेषकर कांग्रेस पार्टी में कहना चाहता हूं, ये राहुल गांधी और प्रियंका गांधी पूरे देश भर में इस देश की माइनॉरिटी को गुमराह कर रहे हैं। इस देश के सिटीजनशिप चली जाएगी, आप नागरिक नहीं रह पाओगे। ये जो सीएए है उसमें किसी की भी सिटीजनशिप लेने का प्रावधान ही नहीं है, सिटीजनशिप देने का प्रावधान है। आप झूठ क्यों बोल रहे हैं? दिल्ली के युवाओं को गुमराह किया, दिल्ली की जनता को गुमराह किया और दिल्ली को दंगों की आग में झुलसने का पाप एक कांग्रेस पार्टी और आप पार्टी ने किया है। दिल्ली की जनता जरूर इस बात का आपसे हिसाब मांगे। राहुल बाबा, आपकी हर हरकत को देश दूरबीन की नजर से देख रहा है कि आप दंगाइयों का साथ दे रहे हैं।
Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar will confer the first Antarashtriya Yoga Divas Media Samman in New Delhi today. The Samman Awards will be given for media contribution in spreading the message of yoga to the people. The Yoga Divas Media Samman will be given in various categories. Here's a report.
Union Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar will inaugurate the first Antarashtriya Yoga Divas Media Samman in New Delhi. This award is being given on the basis of coverage done on the Yoga Day by the media. Speaking on the Media Samman, INB Minister Prakash Javadekar said that various media channels will be honored with this award.
We have decided to recognize the services and the campaigns done by media houses this year. And therefore, from 10 June to 25th June, this fortnight, whatever radio stations, newspapers and TV channels do for propagating yoga, that is propagating healthy living, a preventive care, a wellness thing, and to avoid illness. This is the contribution of yoga.
The Yoga Awards is being conducted to acknowledge the positive role and responsibility of media in disseminating the outreach of yoga in India and abroad. The Antarashtriya Yoga Divas Media Samman will be conferred on 30 media houses under various categories. 11 Sammans will be conferred under the category Best Media Coverage of Yoga in Newspapers. 8 Sammans will be conferred under the category Best Media Coverage of Yoga in Television. 11 Sammans will be conferred under the category Best Media Coverage of Yoga in Radio. The first Antarashtriya Yoga Divas was celebrated in 2015, after which the day of celebrating yoga in India has not only started, as well as the campaign to make people aware through yoga has also begun. Bureau Report, DD News.
Moving on now, India on Monday summoned Pakistan's Shah d'Affaires Syed Saidur Shah and lodged a strong protest over desecration of the Nankana Sahib Gurudwara and the targeted killing of minority Sikh community member in Peshawar. The External Affairs Ministry said the diplomat was conveyed that Pakistan should ensure safety, security and the welfare of the members of minority communities. It was also conveyed to Pakistan to take immediate steps to bring to justice the perpetrators in the Nankana Sahib incident and the killing of the Sikh youth. A 9-judge Constitution bench of Supreme Court will hear from 13th January the issue of allowing women and girls of all the ages to enter Kerala Sabrimala temple, along with other contentious issues of alleged discrimination against Muslim and Parsi women. The Apex Court on Monday issued a notice informing listing of a petition filed by the Indian Young Lawyers Association seeking review of its 2018 judgment allowing women and girls of all the ages to enter the Sabrimala temple. On 14th November last year, a 5-judge Constitution bench in a 3-2 majority verdict had referred to a larger 7-judge bench the plea seeking review of its 2018 judgment. In more news now, the Jharkhand police have arrested 7 Naxals in Latehar district on Monday. The DIG had said that the Naxals were involved in an attack on 22nd November in Chandwa in which 4 police personnel were martyred.
नवंबर 2019 को चंदवा थाना अंतर्गत लुकैया मोड़ के पास में जो उग्रवादी हमला हुआ था, जिसमें कि माओवादी भाकपा माओवादी संगठन के द्वारा यहाँ पर पुलिस वैन पर चंदवा थाने की जो पीसीआर वैन थी उस पर अटैक किया गया था। इसमें शामिल कुल 7 उग्रवादी संगठन के सदस्य और उनके जो सहयोगी हैं, जिनकी इस पूरे कांड में डायरेक्ट संलिप्तता है, उनको गिरफ्तार करने में लातेहार पुलिस को सफलता मिली है।
And moving on now, getting you this ground report, Pradhan Mantri Matru Vandana Yojana is a maternity benefit program run by the central government. Launched with the objective to provide financial assistance to expecting mothers, the scheme is yielding positive results across the country. The women of Barwani district in Madhya Pradesh are benefiting from this scheme. Here's how.
Pradhan Mantri Matru Vandana Yojana is proving to be a great financial support for the women of Barwani district in Madhya Pradesh's Nima region. Under the scheme, women are given financial assistance of 5,000 rupees in 3 installments at the time of the first pregnancy to ease out the financial burden and help access to better diet and health facilities. Pinky, a resident of Sukhvilas colony, is all praise for the scheme. She says that with the financial assistance she got under the scheme, she could afford nutritious diet and better health facilities, including regular checkups.
4,000।
क्या किया उस पैसे का आपने?
उस पैसे का पौष्टिक आहार लिया।
अच्छा। और गर्भावस्था के डिलीवरी के बाद में क्या कितना पैसा मिला?
डिलीवरी के बाद में 2,000 मिले थे, जिसका हमने ड्राई फ्रूट वगैरह सब खरीदे थे, लड्डू वगैरह बनाए थे।
अच्छा, इससे ये आपने जो खाया है गर्भावस्था के दौरान और ये जो सरकार ने जो पैसा दिया उससे आप और आपके बच्चे पे क्या प्रभाव पड़ा?
हम दोनों स्वस्थ हैं, मैं भी और मेरा बच्चा भी स्वस्थ है।
गर्भावस्था के दौरान हमने आंगनवाड़ी में आंगनवाड़ी कार्यकर्ता आरती दीदी के माध्यम से आंगनवाड़ी में पंजीयन करवाया, जिसके हमें प्रधानमंत्री मातृ योजना का लाभ मिला है, जिसमें हमें गर्भावस्था के दौरान 4,000 रुपये मिले, जिससे मैंने मेरी पत्नी को पौष्टिक आहार दिया है और उसके डिलीवरी के बाद 2,000 का लाभ और मिला है, जिससे मेरे बच्चे और मेरी पत्नी को पौष्टिक आहार ड्राई फ्रूट वगैरह बनवा के खिलवाया है। ये योजना अच्छी है।
More than 27,000 women have got themselves registered under this scheme in Barwani in Madhya Pradesh. Being a tribal belt, the scheme is proving to be extremely beneficial for the women of the district, and with the money being transferred directly to their bank accounts, it conveniently takes care of the expenses incurred in giving birth to their first child. Bureau Report, DD News.
And time now for news from around the world. And in major international headlines now, the United States has denied the U.S. troops pulling out of Iraq. The U.S. Defense Secretary Mark Esper told reporters on Monday that the U.S. has no plans to pull out militarily from Iraq, following reports of a U.S. military letter about preparations for a withdrawal. The U.S. military on Monday told the Iraqi government that the American troops were preparing to pull out of the country, but a top U.S. general in Washington said the message was sent by mistake, quote unquote. The letter appeared to have been sent by head of the U.S. military's task force in Iraq to Abdul Amir, the deputy director of the Combined Joint Operations. The letter says that certain measures, including increased air traffic, will be conducted during hours of darkness to ensure the movement out of Iraq is conducted in a safe and efficient manner. However, the chairman of the U.S. Joint Chiefs of Staff, Mark Milley, has reiterated that the U.S. troops were not leaving from Iraq. Now, there are around over 5,000 U.S. troops in Iraq, part of the Combined Joint Task Force Operation Inherent Resolve, which was set up in 2014 to tackle the Islamic State group. The main focus of the task force is to train and equip the Iraqi forces. And the Iraqi Prime Minister Adil Abdul Mahdi has said that the U.S. and Iran should work together on implementing Iraqi parliamentary resolution on the withdrawal of the foreign troops. Mahdi met with Matthew Tuller, the American ambassador to Iraq, on Monday and stressed the need for joint action to implement the withdrawal. Mahdi also made it clear that Iraq wanted good relations with all the countries, but that Iraq also wanted those relationships to be based on mutual respect and preserving its security, stability and national sovereignty, unquote. Now, in an escalating war of words that has heightened international concern, Donald Trump has threatened yet more major retaliation if Tehran hits back, including strikes on Iranian cultural sites. Writing in all caps on Monday, Donald Trump tweeted, I quote, Iran will never have a nuclear weapon, unquote. The tweet came a day after Iran announced that it was further winding down the observance of parts of Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, popularly known as Iran Nuclear Deal. And Iranian President Hassan Rouhani has meanwhile warned his American counterpart Donald Trump to never threaten the Iranian nation after he issued a U.S. strike list of 52 targets in the Islamic Republic. And he said, I quote, those who refer to the number 52 should also remember the number 290. Hashtag IR655 never threatened the Iranian nation. Unquote, he tweeted, referring to the 290 lives lost in July 1988 when a U.S. warship shot down passenger plane Iran Air 655 in the Gulf. Meanwhile, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has expressed deep concern over rising global discord and called for maximum restraint amid escalating tensions between US and Iran after the US killed an Iranian military commander, General Soleimani. Without naming any country, he said that this cauldron of tensions is leading more and more countries to take unpredicted decisions with unpredictable consequences and a profound risk of miscalculation. The United Nations chief warned that geopolitical tensions are at their highest level this century and also called on the world leaders to stop escalating tensions, exercise maximum restraint and restart the dialogue process. And European Union foreign ministers will hold emergency talks on the Iran crisis on Friday. The announcement on Monday came after European Union's diplomatic chief voiced regret at Iran announcing another step away from the fragile 2015 nuclear deal. Josep Borrell, the European Union's High Representative for Foreign Affairs, tweeted that the accord, which has been teetering on the brink of collapse since US President Donald Trump withdrew support, was now more important than ever. Borrell will lead a meeting of foreign ministers on Friday to discuss the fallout from the Soleimani killing and the future of the nuclear deal. Borrell said that the bloc would wait for further details of Iranian breaches from the International Atomic Energy Agency before deciding how to respond. Now, NATO chief has warned that Iran must avoid further violence and provocations after the alliance held emergency talks in Brussels on the growing crisis in the Middle East. During the meeting, the NATO chief also called for de-escalation of tensions, echoing the statements of some European leaders. He stressed that the drone strike in Baghdad was a U.S. decision, but said that other 28 NATO members had repeated their long-standing concerns about Iran's destabilizing activities in the Middle East. And in more news, the United States has denied a visa to Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif that would have allowed him to attend a UNSC meeting in New York on Thursday. Zarif was expected to address the world for the first time after the US conducted a strike killing Iranian General Qasem Soleimani. The visa denial was in violation of the 1947 headquarters agreement mandating the US allow foreign officials into the country to conduct the UN business. And also major news coming in from the crisis, of course, the impact on the markets, the global markets, in fact, talking about the Indian equity market, which has dived deep down on Monday with the Sensex shedding almost 800 points while Nifty notching 233 points below. Now, the bearish run of the market is linked to pessimism of the investors due to heightened tensions in the Gulf after US killing of Iranian General Qasem Soleimani. This blurs the optimism shown by the traders after the possible signing of the phase 1 of US-China trade deal. And talking about the oil prices as well, which settled up at $68.9 per barrel on Monday after hitting near 4-month highs at above $70 per barrel as the US killing of an Iranian general raised fears of war in the world's top hub for crude production. The oil surge has also led to rupee crossing 71 against the dollar, which is poised to increase India's current account deficit. However, the US stocks ended higher on Monday, rebounding from Friday's losses as investors brushed aside increased tensions in the Middle East, while shares of Alphabet and other internet names gained. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 68.6 points, while the Nasdaq Composite added 50.7 points. Now, this may send some positive signals to Indian equity markets as it opens today. So clearly all eyes will be on the markets, how it reacts to all these developments. But moving on now to sports news, well, with the first T20 international between India and Sri Lanka in Guwahati abandoned due to a damp pitch, the two teams will face each other in Indore for the second match of the series. The match now takes on more importance as a win for either team will ensure that they won't lose the series. Jasprit Bumrah, who's back in the Indian squad after a 4-month absence due to a stress fracture, had to wait to make his return to the field after the match at Barsapara Stadium was called off and will be raring to go at the Holkar Stadium. The focus also remains on Shikhar Dhawan, who is also returning from an injury. And with that, let's now move on, take a look at what the national dailies are carrying this morning. We are beginning first with the top story like we got you earlier, and yes, this is about the West Asia Fair. Sensex rupee tank, petrol soars, stock markets have taken the biggest hit in 6 months. Retail prices of fuel at its highest in more than a year, and the rupee taking a beating on Monday as a result of a wider conflict in West Asia in the aftermath of the killing of an Iranian general. Qasem Soleimani drove up fuel prices and forced investors to shift to safer options. Moving on now to this piece of opinion being carried in Express, and this is also on the West Asia after Soleimani. This talks about how an all-out war between the US and Iran will destabilize the region and have major economic impact worldwide. It also talks about how the outcome could be apocalyptic for India's interest. In fact, just to quote a few lines from here, in fact, this talks about how a look at the effect on Indian interest as well. Now, the energy prices, a diaspora of $8 million and $40 billion in remittances for $5 million at the core of India's concerns. Energy prices are already on the rise without even an inkling of the Iranian response. The diaspora presence is mainly in the Gulf countries, which have thus far been largely out of the theatre of proxy war, except for Saudi Arabia. However, this situation is not permanent. It says it is contingent on the intensity of escalation of the war by the proxies and could extend beyond the current subregions of the conflict, engulfing the UAE, Kuwait, Qatar and Bahrain. That would also be apocalyptic for Indian interests, it talks about. Okay, moving on now to some other news, and this is of course from RBI allowing 24/7 forex markets operations while select banks. This is from the Times of India, and this is talking about how the central bank said select banks in India can offer forex rates to Indian clients beyond the interbank market hours, which now runs from 9 in the morning till 5 in the evening. In effect, this opens up the forex market in India round the clock, allowing Indians to hedge their foreign exchange risks any time of the day. And in more human interest news, in fact, this is talking about how Paytm top-up via credit card faces a 2% fee now. Again, a story from the Times of India that we have picked up. Paytm users will have to pay a 2% fee if they load more than 10,000 rupees in their e-wallets via credit card in a month. That's according to the company's new policy. And wallet top-up via debit cards in unified payment interface, the UPI would continue to remain free though. This is being seen as a move to save costs on such transactions. People aware of the matter, of course, said. And in fact, let's get you more news. And this is how now an income affidavit for matrimonial cases being covered in the Tribune. And this is talking about how in a judgment that will change the way a wife is compelled to gather information about her estranged husband's assets and income before seeking maintenance. The Punjab and Haryana High Court has directed the family courts across Punjab, Haryana and Chandigarh to insist on affidavit of assets, income and expenditure. In all, the High Court has issued 9 commandments to be followed in all the matrimonial cases, including the ones under the Hindu Marriage Act as well. And with that, it's a wrap on the morning print for now. Let's move on now to our health story of the day and talking about the health risks and precautions to be taken during winter season. And that's the focus of our health story today. Here's how you should be taking care of yourself in the ongoing winter season.
The winter season brings with it a new set of health risks. Cold weather can cause or aggravate number of ailments.
During winter, the atmosphere is dry and cold, and because of that we are likely to have cough, cold, sore throat, irritation or dryness in the eyes, and we can have common cold, seasonal influenza, flu, viral fevers. And those patients, those who are having hypertension, their blood pressure can increase a bit because of the vasoconstriction in the skin. The cardiac patients, they can be affected. The patient of stroke can be affected. Besides this, the patient of asthma, COPD or those who have got the respiratory problems, they are affected more.
Heart patients, hypertensives, diabetics, young children, elderly and those with low immunity need to be extra cautious during the cold months.
During the winters, we should avoid early morning outdoor activity unnecessarily, because during this time we are having first the atmosphere temperature is very low, there can be smog in the early morning also, and unnecessarily exposure to this by the high risk group particularly should be prevented. We should ensure that when we are going in the cold particularly, we should be wearing 3 layers of clothing, and the inside of the cloth layer should be cotton, and beside this we should be covering our head, our neck, face, and using the thick socks. We should preferably do the exercise during the mid part of the day. Sunlight itself is a mood elevator and gives a feeling of well-being. We should ensure that we are taking plenty of lukewarm water, we are taking lot of fruits and vegetables, preventing unnecessarily fried, spicy meal, and to keep our the cardiac patient, hypertensive patients or asthmatic patient, they should also remain in touch with the doctor to readjust their dose as per the requirement.
It is important to be vigilant and aware of dangers to health in the cold weather. Taking precautions is an effective way to keep healthy during winters. Kiran Bhardwaj, DD News.
And time now for Good News India story now. While cleanliness and aesthetics are closely linked, Yogesh Saini, an engineer who returned from the US, is turning street art into a medium of expression. In doing so, he is creating a cleaner and more involved social response. Here's more in the story.
Street art and murals are not very well developed in our country, but they certainly can go a long way in beautifying cities and also become a recognized form of expression. Yogesh Saini and his team are attempting to develop street art. Yogesh returned from the United States, where he worked as an engineer. The US has a culture of street art. He realized that in keeping with the concept of Swachh Bharat, street art could also help in keeping places clean. Yogesh Saini started his mission by painting the dustbins in Lodi Gardens.
बहुत सी पब्लिक स्पेसेस हैं दिल्ली में और इंडिया के कम से कम 15-20 और शहरों में, जहाँ पे हम जाते हैं और वहाँ के लोगों को भी इन्वॉल्व करते हैं और अपने आर्टिस्ट को इन्वॉल्व करते हैं और कोशिश करते हैं कि इस जगह को बढ़िया बनाएं, सुंदर बनाएं.
Now Yogesh and his friends have developed their art across many cities of the country. Yogesh was one of the artists who helped make the Prayagraj Kumbh Mela a huge and colorful success. Yogesh and his team have inspired children and the youth to take up their brushes and put their imagination to good use. But it's not just children. Citizens, civic bodies and corporates too are joining the campaign.
हमने सोचा हम ऐसे अगर सुंदर सुंदर पेंटिंग करेंगे तो एक डेटरेंस होगा, स्वच्छता का मैसेज भी होगा, लोग यहाँ पे यूरिनेट नहीं करेंगे, फूड वेंडर्स भी यहाँ पे साफ रखेंगे.
Art that promotes cleanliness is truly a unique way of creating awareness and behavioral change. Through this unique skill, art creates a new canvas, the street. And yes, it is helping make people stop and think. Jaya Sinha's report for Good News India, DD News.
And let's now check the weather in your city for today. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of the Breakfast News. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. We'll see you then. But before we go today, we are leaving you with a glimpse of the black and white carnival celebrated in Colombia. The colorful carnival has its origins in a mix of Andean, Amazonian and Pacific cultural expressions. Take a look at those visuals and we wish you a great day ahead. Thanks for being with us.